Hello YouTube, it's good to see you again. Welcome to Mabu College. For those who are new, my name is Mabu, not Mabu, okay? Please don't mispronounce my name. I'm serious. This channel is designed for those who are interested in Japan mainly, but I also talk about something so exciting and something related to Japanese breaking news I should share with you. It's supposed to be interesting and useful for you, and so if you can stay tuned with me, please hit the subscription button, and for more videos, you can also check them out in the description section below. By all means, I always welcome you. Alright folks, enough intro, let's begin. Let's go through today's hot topics. Today, we're gonna be going through the chronic problem with population decline. Japan is experiencing population decline over the past 10 years. Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communication has shown the consensus that Japan's population peaked in 2008, and then it has been in decline ever since. Elon Musk was warning Japan will eventually cease to exist unless something changes to make a higher birth rate than death rate. What he predicts the future of Japan is that he thinks it will be a great loss for the world. Partially, I agree with him, but the thing is that the Japanese government did little to address the issues. You know why? Because it's being a long-term issue. It's gonna be a super serious issue in 20 or 30 years in the long run, but they do not take a highest priority to do anything for population decline as an urgent issue. Especially we are living under an aging society in Japan. That's also called an aging population. We have too many older people at the age of above 60, but many of them do nothing for younger generations. They always care about themselves, the annuity after their retirement, and how much they get the benefit from the government. That basically all. Actually, that makes sense. If I were above 60, I would probably do the same. So it makes sense to me too. Based on the fact that the government does not take action for young folks, Japanese politicians try to make a strong bond with the old supporters for the next election, because the majority of the entire population accounts for old people. So they vote for the supportive politicians because they both want a better life. Their annuity is secured. They do not have to pay for overpriced medical expense, and they can have a better life at nursing home, which is pretty good deal for them. So all money, all tax, all funds follow into the budget for older people, and then in exchange with that, young people have to pay for it. That's unfair, right? We have to pay too much social security, income tax, and pensions. So one third of my monthly salary is gone, for example. Then why does Japan's population continue to decrease? Why it is unstoppable? Look at Mexico, America, India, and China. Yeah, they have a big family anywhere. How come is Japan having a lower birth rate? Because older people have too many cash, while young people have less. Young people cannot afford to feed their family or kids' wife. That's why birth rate is incredibly low, if I tell you briefly. So as of 2022, population seems to continue to decrease, and 12 years ago, we had 128 million people in Japan, and this figure is also a peak population. Ever since then, it's never exceeded above this number, which is a part of the reason why Japan's economy is at the age of falling as well. I'm going to talk about this issue another time, so please keep that in mind. Let me just now focus on population biologically. Within 10 years, the population has shrunk by almost 2 million people. The post-Second World War showed a dramatic drop, but this was mainly due to the detachment of soldiers who went abroad on military duties. So except for those years, this is technically the first time the population is decreasing as time goes by. It seems to have three main reasons behind Japan's decrease in people. Number one, Japan's birth rate had dropped considerably as its aging population goes on. It is strongly linked to to the issue with the low birth rate, as I said earlier. Number 2, Japan doesn't facilitate immigration to make up the deficit. And number 3, here we go. This is the biggest problem. We have one of the highest life expectancy rates in the world, which end up to an aging society. I was born in Japan and I'm expected to live to the ripe old age of 85 years or older. So less people are born, people are living longer, and these people lead the future of Japan. That's why we're gonna be living in an aging society. Now many people from outside the countries migrate to Japan. Young people do not care about the politics. Yeah, they do nothing because we are pretty much satisfied with the current peaceful society. No war, no gun, no violence, and at least we are in a peaceful society than other developed nations like Russia or Ukraine. So basically, we don't have to do anything special like a riot right now. Even if you call us optimists, we are not averse to you because I think you are right. But whatever we do, aging population will likely be unstoppable. In 2050, Japanese government has predicted that 40% of population will be aged over 65 years. Why can they say this with so much confidence? I give you a clue later. Personally, I have some concerns about aging population. I'm living and working in Japan, so I can tell you the real reason. If I express this issue with one word, that is Japanese work culture. It is the base of a vast majority of problem in this country. People don't see a point in sex or getting married because they spend a majority of each day at work. It's normal to work for 10 to 12 hours a day in Tokyo, which followed by work parties or other related events. The whole gambare attitude is killing Japan, to be honest. We all have to do the work at the best effort, but it sounds sarcastic, right? Yeah, that's one of the reasons why an aging society is spreading. Well, we have many side effects of an aging population in Japan. A decline in population means economic slowdown. The possible impact of decreasing population that leads to permanent recession or decline in basic service and infrastructure. So, for example, if less people want to buy products and services, the number of vendors will be declining, and then the business market will be shrunk at the same time. When people buy or selling overall goods or services, the government cannot collect the taxes from us. The tax collection is gonna be down. When that happens, the government cannot spend money for infrastructure to construct public schools, bridges, roads, transit, and whatever needs for our life. That's the worst scenario we never expected. So let's say GDP is also the same. GDP stands for gross domestic product, right? So it's a monetary measure of market value and the most important indicator to capture economic activity in a country. If GDP is down, everything is so bad. If you know that, that's enough. How about the social security? Social security is gonna be a burden of health insurance we have to pay. In America, medical insurance sucks. In Japan, it's much better than American social security, but despite we have unbalanced population pyramid, young people are forced to pay too much tax to make up the huge amount of Japan's debt. We're gonna have to do it forever. In addition, those young folks tend to move to Tokyo. That's another issue with centralization of population in Tokyo area. I'm planning to move to Tokyo soon. So because I can have another better opportunity, another better good job opportunities. So local people at a young generation, right after graduating from college, do the same things as researching for the best job position in Tokyo. It's obvious people want to make more money in the countryside because the cost of living at the local is relatively cheaper than that in Tokyo, but the reality is easier said than done. I had some co-workers who moved away from countryside and now living in Tokyo. One day I asked them if they would ever want to go back to their hometown. And they all say, no way. You see the population movement is shifting from one to another place so fast. Everyone young wants to have a better job, better salary, and better life. I'm not exceptional, so I'm kind of predict specifically what's gonna happen next. You know what it is? The next possible scenario is depopulation in a rural area. So let's say a lot of young people get out of town and won't come back hometown forever. That means there's gonna be a chronic shortage of young workforce in the rural areas. So look at the farmers, dirty jobs, and the restaurant business for cheap salary. They do not wanna work for it. They pursue to build their job career in a centralized area like Tokyo. When young people move away from villages, jobs, schools, shops, and other facilities also disappear. I'm sure this general perspective should be pretty accurate and precise. And you know what? Look at the stock and bond and the foreign exchange. You never know how price going up or down. And weather forecast doesn't even give you the accurate information on that. However, population decline can be estimated in 20 years. Let's suppose that the total population at the age of 50s as of today is 24 million people, okay? In 10 years, it's not going to be increased insanely. Can be decreased, but not increased. The population ratio doesn't fluctuate years by years. The population pyramid doesn't change a lot unless something really big happens. You know what I'm saying? In terms of an aging society, population pyramid is a key. This is also called an age structure diagram. It's supposed to look like a triangle pyramid like this, but Japan's diagram is quite irregular. As you can see that table right next to me, the working age population is consist of aging group between 16 and 65 years old. The highest population accounts for about 60% of total. The percentage is the lowest ever on record, whereas people who just retired at the age of 60 or above account for 30% of the total, which is the highest percentage. So the mechanism of aging structure is the majority of population ratio between 60 and 65 goes up as time goes by, and people at the young generation do not want to give birth to their babies or get married because they call their children a dead investment. They spend a lot of money on their kids, but they think kids are just gonna grow up and leave home. Do you see how parents keep investing on their children and paying for their college education without letting their children take the task alone, like making them to pay for their own school, which is common in Japan, and then getting independent of parents. If I were a parent, I wouldn't have invested in my babies. So that's why I'm still single, living with my parents and sisters. That's my perspective and opinion about the population declining going on in Japan. Japan seems to continue population decline because birth rate is quite low, as I mentioned, and it's expected to be unstoppable from now on. In terms of developing Japan's economy and whatever indicates growth rate, GDP and stuff like that, there's nothing we can hope. I knew this was going to happen a long time ago. I'm speaking to you in English on YouTube, for example, because I was trying to globalize my brand recognition in the world as a Japanese YouTuber. I tell you what, I see a bunch of Japanese YouTubers who makes a living from YouTube, but they tend to give up on it recently because YouTube is getting harder and harder to make stable profits. Most of them are out of YouTube community and shift going for another side of business such as TikTok, because YouTube is now too competitive to survive in the Japanese community on YouTube. So obviously, you can tell me that English is a must tool to broadcast in my YouTube channel in the world, because I target overseas viewers who are of interest in Japanese stuff. I believe I made a good point, but I avoided competition in Japanese market, although I'm so concerned about the Japanese viewers in Japan as the population is shrinking. I have to keep an eye on YouTube trend, viewers liking, breaking news, race, gender, age, competitors. Everything is important for me, but among with the population diagram will be the most important concerns, because once I target and set up my favorite market to grow my channel, I can't change or modify my contents right away. If I do so, my viewers unsubscribe to my channel and then they won't come back to watch me forever. That's what I'm afraid of the most. So my YouTube activity depends on quite on a parameter of entire population. When the fertility rate and birth rate is not stable forever, we're gonna end up with a population decline forever. I keep you informed why we are losing our people in the second half of today's video for the details. So please stay tuned. This is the dark background of Japan. Economically, politically, biologically, everything is linked to one another and bond together. Not just one cause, but lower levels of population aging, and declining fertility rate, attributed to a variety of factors such as baby boom. The happened twice in the history of Japan. I get deep into it for the next video. So that's pretty much it for the first half, folks. Let me just take a short break and resume when I'm back in a minute, okay? I'll see you later.